Good afternoon. My name is Nicholas Mars, and this is like my third time trying to record this video because everything keeps crashing. But I know that there's a greater purpose being served, so I stuck through it. Pat on the back for that. But today we're going to be talking about some important. Everything I'll talk about is important relatively, but we're going to be talking about giving yourself grace, not only as an artist but just as a person. I find that a lot of artists I know, including myself, are perfectionists to hell and back. Like it's bad. Criticizing yourself, reprimanding yourself, creative blockage, writing blockage, writer's blockage can commence if you don't give yourself grace, if you don't give yourself moments to breathe and just allowing yourself to understand, especially if you're learning a new craft or learning something new or trying to perfect something, that you're not going to get it right the first time or the second or the third or the fourth and so on. It's not about being perfect. That bar is invisible essentially as artists and as people. For me personally, I have a very hyper improvement based mindset. I hate stagnancy with a passion. I always want to be improving, physically stronger, mentally, spiritually, and of course I fall in many in getting stuck in my ways. But now, recently I've been doing very well for the past 2 months, and I just always want to get better. I'm never I don't want to say happy. Content. I don't like being comfortable, and that can be in a positive and a negative way. Because being too comfortable is complacency. That's death to me. That's getting stuck. But being comfortable just where you are in your present moment just means you can never be truly comfortable with yourself, sitting with yourself, being where you're at in the present moment, which can stink. And when it comes to my achievements, even leaking into my school life, I really, really have always just hated this achievement based way of evaluating people, and I fell into it. I often uh, valued myself based on achievements I would get grade wise, compliments, how people perceived me, and being able to get away from people to spend time with yourself helps with that. And I'm better now, but still, that perfectionism, that want to be supposedly good, whatever good means, applies into my creations as well. There are many times where I'm just at my DAW and I'm just tinkering. I'm not making anything good. And I used to say, like, oh, what are we doing? Or we're creating, but we're not creating anything good. We're creating, but we're not creating anything effective that we can make money off of. We're wasting our time. And that's not healthy at all. You need to give yourself grace. Being an artist, creative process is sometimes very simple, fluid, sometimes extremely arduous, sometimes like hair splitting. It's going to be different for every person, and there are going to be many different creative processes per person. And it's not always going to be, not even just always going to be easy, but always going to be to your liking. The product, the process, etc. So you can't take that out on yourself. That's how you create, no pun intended, that's how you create creative blocks for yourself. That's how you make your relationship with your creations sour. That's how you kill your passion. And that's in any sense, not just creation, not just art. Giving yourself grace with self improvement. Just because you aren't where you want to be does not mean that you're not doing good. And I struggle with this a lot. Guilty. I struggle with that a lot. Not being able to see where I'm at and be like, wow, I really progressed from here to here. I'm not here. I'm not there, but like, I'm still, I'm not here. I'm here. There's a difference between here and here. I grew. And even while growth is happening, it's difficult to tell because growth is extremely prolonged. Growth is very painful. It's difficult to ascertain where you are compared to where you were and why that is good. Give yourself flowers, man. Take breaks from your art. Take breaks from sometimes even people around you or stimulus that make things that make you feel inadequate, and just give yourself grace and flowers. That doesn't mean be indulgent in it or be egotistic. We can give ourselves grace and not be prideful, in the same way that you can be angry but not sin, in the same way that you can want money and not be greedy, in the same way that you can want food and not be gluttonous. We can show ourselves kindness and grace without being egotistical or prideful or lying to ourselves. There is a happy medium between overzealous self-thought or self-perception. Which way's the camera? Over overzealous self-perception and giving yourself the grace that you so desperately deserve and need in some cases. Your body, your inner self, your that inner child, that inner creative spirit needs to be acknowledged sometimes. It needs to be cared for and loved, whichever way that is for you. But you need to give yourself grace and say, it's fine if I don't get it right away. It's fine if I want to be here, but I'm here. I'm getting there. And the path to getting there is so difficult. It's so painful. But as you work on your craft, as you get better, as you work on yourself, as you get better, not only are you going to get closer to that goal, but you're going to realize it's way more about the journey. It's way more about the mess ups. It's way more about the mistakes that you can learn from than being this God in any way, than being this all encompassing force that can just do something perfectly. Because if anything is perfect, then it's not interesting and it's not fun. If it's without blemish, then it's not interesting, you know? So give yourself grace, give yourself time to just heal, time to give yourself props for the things that you've done, so that when you get back to creating, when you get back to working on yourself, you feel refreshed and you feel affirmed, not by anything outward or that you need to elicit validation from, whether it be an achievement, whether it be a compliment, whether it be an accessory, whatever, but rather get validation from yourself that you are on the right path and that you are doing good. And I struggle with this every single day. So I'm going to start trying to give myself more grace and say, you're doing good, Nicholas. You got this. You're doing great. By not even comparing myself to other people, compared to previous versions of yourself, you're doing amazing right now. You're doing phenomenal. And then that will show in your work, I guarantee you. So give that a try. Try to incorporate that. I know I'm going to have a very difficult time. So, yeah, good luck to us both. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. It didn't stop. That's a little embarrassing. One moment.